Good morning. It's a lovely Northumbrian morning, but no sunshine today. It makes filming easier, so that's a bonus. Today is the sixth Sunday of Easter, and it is, of course, you will remember, the ninth Sunday since we've been able to come together and to celebrate our services in church. I could go into church and record our services and our reflections and send them out to you in the normal way. But I haven't really chosen to do this because I would like to do that when we can all come together, or at least some of us, to share in the life of our churches and in our benefice. And so at present I am waiting. This week we celebrate Ascension Day, and in 2 weeks' time we come to Pentecost. Just to set it in the context, the year is rolling on. Yesterday I was talking about the vision of Paul, which drew him into evangelizing, into his mission in Europe. And today the reading from the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 17, is the passage in which he speaks to the Athenians. And he uses a very clever device. He says, I notice you have an altar to an unknown God, and you've been searching scrupulously so that you can worship this unknown God. But this unknown God is your Father. You are this God's children. In him we live and move and have our being. And he is revealed to us in Jesus Christ. It's a powerful passage, and it's a great piece of preaching. But it made me think of something else. It made me think of a poem, probably one of the most quoted poems by clergy, because we like you to know that we've read a poem or two. And it's a poem by T.S. Eliot. It's one of the four quartets, Little Gidding. Bears a read. It's not the easiest read, but it's very powerful. And in it, Eliot says this. It's fairly far on in the poem. He says this: we shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. Now, I sense a parallel there with what Paul is saying. People are searching. Someone said to me yesterday, do you think people are searching for answers in this difficult time? Or have they given up and turned against God? And I said, I think people are searching. All the evidence is that people are searching at this time for something. And what Paul is saying, I think, in his preaching in Athens, and what T.S. Eliot is saying, is that what we are searching for is here. God is our Father. We are his children. Christ wins the victory over death and defeats evil and death and gives us hope. In our Christian tradition, in this Christian faith, we do find meaning. We don't find easy answers, but we do find a clear meaning. That we are loved, that we are intended for fellowship with God and to live in a world which is God's creation. That world goes wrong, and sin is involved in that world going wrong. But Christ brings us forgiveness, victory, healing, peace. Christ defeats death and gives us hope of living in a new way. One of the things I've noticed recently is that in this period of lockdown, we're getting grumpy. I get grumpy. I read things that people say And I want to box their ears, because it seems to me, from my great wisdom, that they're being daft. They probably think the same about me. But Christ wants us to come back to him, to his love, to his grace in our lives. As T.S. Eliot says, I'll repeat it again, we shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. In our hearts, there is the wellspring of Christ's love that God plants in us. Let us let that flow from us and inform the way in which we live in our world. May God bless us all.